Imagine looking up at the night sky and realizing something is missing. The red planet, Mars, has vanished without a trace. No warning, no explosion, no leftover debris. Just an empty orbit silently circling the Sun. But what would this disappearance really mean? Would Earth be thrown out of balance? Would asteroids start raining down on us? Would the entire solar system collapse over millions of years? Today, we're going to explore every consequence of a universe without Mars. Mars isn't just some dusty red rock floating out there. It's a crucial gravitational player in our cosmic neighborhood. Its gravity helps shape the stability of the inner solar system, keeping the orbits of countless asteroids in check. It also acts as a subtle counterweight, preventing the gas giant Jupiter from completely dominating the inner planets. And, of course, Mars holds precious clues about ancient water, past climates, and maybe even the origins of life itself. Even though Mars is much smaller than Earth, yanking it out of existence would instantly break a very delicate and ancient balance. So, let's picture the exact moment Mars disappears. The first thing that happens is gravitational. A huge gravity gap suddenly appears where a whole planet used to be. The Sun's gravity is still the boss, of course, so everything doesn't just fly apart. But the small, constant pull of Mars is gone. For nearby asteroids, this is a big deal. They are no longer held in place by its gentle influence and start to drift. On Earth, we wouldn't feel a thing right away. Our orbit would seem perfectly normal. But in space, small gravitational changes are like tiny pushes repeated over millions of years. Eventually, they add up to something big. We would, however, notice a few things immediately. The night sky would look different, missing one of its brightest stars. Every orbital calculation for our satellites and spacecraft would suddenly be wrong. And the signals from our rovers on Mars, they would go silent forever. Now, let's talk about the asteroid belt. Mars is located right next to this massive ring of space rocks, and its gravity acts like a shepherd, keeping many of them in stable, predictable orbits. With Mars gone, that shepherd disappears. Thousands of asteroids would lose their gravitational anchor and start to drift. Some would be pulled inward, toward the inner solar system. Over time, a few of these could end up crossing Earth's path. This doesn't mean we'd get hit by an asteroid next week. These are slow, cosmic changes. But over millions of years, the long-term risk of a major impact on Earth would rise dramatically. Mars was acting as a kind of silent guardian, and now that shield is gone. What about Earth's orbit itself? Mars's gravity does have a tiny, but constant, effect on our planet. Without it, our orbit would become more influenced by the massive pull of Jupiter. The gravitational tug-of-war that keeps our solar system in balance would be fundamentally altered. Earth wouldn't fly out into deep space or anything that dramatic. But our orbit might slowly change shape over thousands of years, becoming slightly more elliptical. This could subtly affect our seasons. Summers might get a little hotter, and winters a little colder, as our distance from the Sun varies more throughout the year. The climate cycles we've known for millennia could begin to shift. Again, these are slow effects, but they are real. In space, tiny changes always add up, and that brings us to Jupiter. Mars helps to buffer the inner solar system from Jupiter's immense gravitational influence. Without that buffer, Jupiter's pull becomes stronger and more direct on the inner planets. Venus and Earth would feel it, experiencing small perturbations in their orbits. But the planet that would really be in trouble is Mercury. As the smallest and innermost planet, its orbit is already the most fragile. With Jupiter's influence growing unchecked, Mercury could become dangerously unstable. Now, Jupiter can't just pull a planet out of its orbit overnight. But over millions of years, the solar system becomes a more chaotic place. In some extreme future simulations, scientists have predicted that Mercury might one day collide with Venus or even get thrown out of the solar system entirely. The absence of Mars would make these chaotic scenarios more likely. But for us humans, the biggest and most immediate loss isn't gravitational. It's the loss of opportunity. Mars represents our future. It's the closest and most realistic destination for us to colonize. It's our best chance to become a multiplanetary species, ensuring the long-term survival of humanity. Mars is the perfect testing ground for deep space technologies and the most accessible place to search for signs of past life beyond Earth. If Mars vanished, NASA and SpaceX would lose their primary long-term goal. All plans for future colonies, terraforming, and creating a plan B for humanity would be gone in an instant. Beyond that, the loss would be catastrophic for science. Mars is like a natural history book of the solar system's past. It preserves clues that have long been erased on Earth. We see ancient riverbeds, dried-up oceans, and evidence of a once thicker atmosphere. We can study its massive extinct volcanoes and its dramatic climate shifts. It's the perfect laboratory for understanding how planets like ours form, evolve, and maybe, just maybe, how life begins. Without Mars, it's like tearing a crucial chapter out of our cosmic history book, a chapter we could never get back. So, what if Mars disappeared? The solar system wouldn't collapse overnight, and Earth wouldn't be immediately destroyed. But the long-term consequences would be immense. We'd face an increased threat from asteroids. Our planet's orbit and climate would slowly change. The entire solar system would become a more chaotic and less predictable place. And perhaps saddest of all, humanity's greatest dream of exploring and settling another world would die. Mars may seem like a small, distant world, but its presence is huge. It's a protector, a history book, and a beacon for our future. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this cosmic what if, be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the universe.